So if this was a project that I was working on and this was the my final cleanup, one of the things that I would then do is I've noticed that if you have, if you're working on a project and you have, every clip is going to need all this fusion cleanup. And when you have a lot of those together, um, especially over the lifetime of a project, which can take sometimes a couple of weeks or sometimes a couple of months, is that it can be it can take a lot of rendering and processing power to be rendering out big node trees for everything. So I personally like to render out, when I have like a patch together, what I then like to do is, see, if we go back to our edit page, is I can just delete that. But what I'll do is I'll actually, and I'll do this for each clip, but I'll do an in and out for just that clip. And then I'll render it out separately as a ProRes file. So, so I'm just going to go in here and name this file the same as the fusion comp that we made. So let's just do ms 002 2021 09 08 154 v1. Oh, got an underscore. See, and then I'm going to, where I'm going to put that is in our, let's see, we're doing it in here. I'm going to actually put this in, I'm going to make a new folder called master stitch, because now that we've done cleanup work on this file, it's now a master stitch. So let's put that there. Going to turn it v1 because sometimes we need to do multiple iterations of this. And then I'm going to render this out as a ProRes file. I like to do kind of all my compositing and then render out ProRes files and then rebuild the video from there. So we're going to use this vocoder plugin to do ProRes. We're going to use 422. For other projects, you could consider doing 444 if you're doing some pretty heavy compositing and you need that extra bit depth. But I find for most of my purposes, especially for like cameras like the Obsidian Pro or the Obsidian, the Obsidian S, and then go ahead and make sure that you are rendering this out. The default often with vocoder is to set this as an MKV file. Make sure you set this to an MOV file before you render it out. Okay, and so then once that video file is been rendered, you can go back here to media. And let's just go ahead and make a new folder called master stitch, where we can drag these new files into there. And then we do a thing called where we re-conform the project. So as you render out different clips, what then I do is then I come in and I bring this rendered version and I place it over top of the fusion clip. And then I just disable that clip. The nice thing about this is that you can do things like select this clip and create a proxy from it, which is kind of cool. So you could do, let's see, if you right click it inside here, you can generate proxy media. So there's a bunch of like additional optimization things that can be done so that you can have this high resolution footage and play it back in real time, so you can actually watch what you're doing. It also makes things a lot more stable. Like once we're, as opposed to doing work on this fusion clip, so you can do like extra color work, or even, even if you like, or you're like, oh wait, there's like a little mistake. Because we've rendered this out in ProRes, we can still do more effects on top of it or more cleanup on top of it without, and it does speed up the rendering process over time without really having too much of a generation loss. So so this is kind of like been a pretty good strategy for us, and then you could say, do like the final color, say this was for a project, and or let's say I wouldn't do that, but let's say I would maybe open it up. Maybe I would add a little bit more saturation. And I'm not really doing a really good job here necessarily. I'm just kind of just crunching my blacks a little bit, making my exposure seem okay, but not, don't want to overexpose my windows too much because we just spent so much time fixing those. So I don't know, maybe so we can probably bring out a little bit of the mids, or do that here. So yeah, so overall that's kind of a general way. And then when we got to the final project, like this can all render out much faster than if we had to render out the fusion comps. So I mean, you definitely could, but I find for like an iterative process as you're working on a project, I like to, the mantra is kind of render early, render often. I find that just helps. That way you get to the end of the deadline and renders don't take very long. You can kind of just, fix things and get things done faster. All right. So that's how you stitch and clean up monoscopic 360 footage. I hope you're enjoying this preview of my cinematic 360 video post-production class. You can get this tutorial and 5 complete chapters for free by signing up at learn.voyeur.com. The full class includes 10 hours of content covering stereoscopic, 360 video, 180 VR, and more. It's now available at learn.voyeur.com, so go ahead and check it out.